Hey hotties,
Hey.
Welcome to Hotties with the Plotties. I'm Tasha.
And I'm Daniqua.
And today we're bringing you a juicy plot with our 2 cents. So books are going to be our main focus, but we are going to be covering any kind of plot on this show.
Any and all.
Movies, TV, reality, whatever. But today you were joining us for Season 1, Episode 1, where Daniqua is going to be discussing The Family Across the Street by Nicole Trope.
Indeed.
Which sounds like a fake pen name.
It really does. It's very...
I've never heard the last name Trope, like ever.
Well, we'll see what tropes are in this story.
We shall see.
But before we get into this thick plot, here's our disclaimer that listening to us is not a replacement for reading the book. In fact, we encourage you to read the book either before or after listening to us. So to enhance your overall experience, combine the two. Under fair use, we will be summarizing and giving our commentary, but as we do, bear in mind that it is always easier to criticize something than it is to create something.
True.
So, no matter our thoughts, we encourage you to experience these stories for yourself.
Yes.
All right.
Let's get into it.
Yes.
Okay.
So The Family Across the Street by Nicole Trope. It is a psychological thriller.
Okay.
It is 248 pages, so it's not too long, but you know.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
okay.
Right in the middle.
Okay.
The book starts from the perspective of a neighbor who's noticing that across the street there are police cars at a neighbor's house.
Okay. So, I'm always there's a police car that like comes across the street, like there's a house across the street from us, and they always have like an ambulance or a police car or something, and I'm just like
nosy.
Exactly. Like we go to the front, like peek out the blinds.
Like I aspire when I get older to be that nosy neighbor who just like peek. Yeah. Don't cheat because I'll see it. So you already know that there's like something up with the family across the street.
Okay.
And then the rest of the book explains the events that led up to that point, led to the police being at the neighbor's house.
Okay.
Yeah. So we start with a little prologue.
I see.
We already know where it ends.
Okay.
Let's see how we get there.
Okay. All right.
The chapters change perspectives between a few characters.
Okay.
We have the man.
Okay.
This is all you need. We have the man.
All right.
The woman.
Got it.
Twin girl. Twin boy.
Okay.
The nosy neighbor Gladys.
Of course her name is Gladys.
Right? I just want to be Gladys. We have the nosy neighbor Gladys.
Okay.
We have her husband Lou.
Okay.
And we have a mail delivery man Logan.
And we have all of their perspectives in this book?
Yes, we get their perspectives throughout this book.
Okay, all right.
So, the man, the woman, twin girl, twin boy, nosy neighbor Gladys, her husband Lou.
All right.
And the mail delivery man Logan.
Okay. Logan sounds hot.
Right? Just from the name. I think it's because, isn't that the name of Wolverine? Ain't that his name?
Yes, it is. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Strong name. Okay, so the next chapter is from the perspective of Gladys, the nosy neighbor. So you know we're about to get some juice.
Okay, yes. Gladys knows fucking everything.
She knows what's up.
Yeah, okay.
She lives next door to the man, the woman, and the twins.
Okay.
Gladys looks out her window and she notices that Catherine, the woman.
Oh, we get a name.
We get a name. I'm giving you a name.
Okay.
The woman.
All right.
Has not opened up her windows. And it's a particularly hot day in Australia. Did I mention this was set in Australia?
You did not.
I did. Well, it's in Australia, and it's real hot.
Okay.
So Gladys is like, it's unusual. She usually opens her her blinds by this point.
Gladys is a creep.
Yeah, she is. But I want to be her. Okay. So she looks out her window and she notices that Catherine, the woman, has not opened up her windows. And it's a particularly hot day in Australia.
Okay.
And the news had recommended that everyone open up their windows because it was so hot.
Do they not have air conditioning in Australia?
I recently learned that like central AC is not a staple in
all
places.
Well, no, not even everywhere in the US, but Australia is hot. I feel like they would have AC.
For survival, you need AC. Like around here, if you don't have AC, that is a safety hazard.
Literally, yes.
You could actually perish.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right.
So Gladys is like, why doesn't Catherine have her windows open? The Australian government said we need to have them open. It's so hot outside.
And they listen to their government.
Right. We don't listen to ours. Gladys also notices that she did not see the twins walking with the woman, Catherine, to school.
Okay.
Usually, if the kids are sick or something, Catherine will ask Gladys for assistance.
Okay.
Lou, Gladys's husband, talks about how he noticed John, Catherine's husband, speeding out of the driveway that morning, angrily. Yes.
Oh, that's not suspicious at all.
Right, so what's going on?
I watch too much true crime. John's guilty.
See, we talked about this before. I don't know how she can handle true crime. I can't handle that. That's real stuff. That happens to people. I can't watch that.
See, and I won't watch the scary movies with like the exorcisms and the slasher like coming to kill you. Like,
I can watch that.
That's
easy.
Too scary.
That didn't happen to anybody.
I mean,
I actually just got done rewatching Saw 1 through 8.
That's insane.
Nobody did that for real though.
That's wild.
Meanwhile, you're listening to...
Okay, so I thought you were going to be talking about a different book, and it sparked in my mind because I think you're doing The Inmate later on.
I am.
Okay, and I watched a documentary on Netflix that was like really good. It's called Jailbreak, Love on the Run.
So it's real?
It was real, yes. Do you remember that state trooper, not a state trooper, she wasn't a state trooper, she was like a sheriff's deputy or something, and she ran off with an inmate, and they were on the run for like a week. This was like 2 years ago.
No, I don't remember this.
You don't remember that?
Well, I purposely stay away from this kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, this was in like Alabama, and yeah, the documentary is really good.
So
check it out.
She's like in love with him and like runs?
Yeah, he pretty much like not like groomed her because she was an adult, but basically manipulated her into like falling for him and letting him out of jail.
Maybe that'll be another episode. I don't know.
Yeah, we could do that too. Mm-hmm. It was good. It was good. I'm not gonna no spoilers, but
okay, yeah. You'll tell us about it later. Okay, so Gladys notices that the twins weren't walked to school, and then her husband Lou mentions how that morning John, who's Catherine's husband, like peeled out of the driveway angrily.
No.
And so these two are like, "Ooh, what's happening over there?
Okay.
In the house across the street."
Wait, I thought they were next door.
They're right next door, but like it's called the family across the street, so.
I feel like
it should be called the family next door, I guess.
Or she could have just put Gladys across. Anyway,
she could have.
Okay.
In fact, that would have made more sense for the sense of like I'm looking across and I see that you're
right.
It's fine.
But you can see more when you're next door. I think like you're closer.
So Gladys is like, "Ooh, sounds like there's some tea, and I'm a tea drinker." Okay. You're an actual tea drinker.
I am a tea drinker.
In case you're wondering.
Earl Grey.
So the next chapter is from the perspective of Logan, the mail delivery man.
Okay.
And you learn that he has a lot of tattoos and was recently released from prison for burglarizing houses and assaulting a woman. So you're supposed to be getting this image of Logan in your head.
Okay.
Right?
I was going to say something there, and I'm glad I didn't. I said he was hot at first.
He can still be hot.
He can still be hot, but he's like assaulting people.
Dangerous. Well, he was in jail for assaulting people and burglarizing.
Oh, okay. Does that not mean he did
it?
We don't know if he did it.
Okay. All right. We'll see.
Okay.
He wears long sleeves to avoid being judged by his tattoos, which he regrets getting now. And it's worth noting that this book takes place, I already mentioned it, it takes place in Australia, and I think the culture around tattoos may be a little bit different.
Okay, I was going to ask you, does this book happen in like 1945?
Right, exactly. So I'm assuming the culture is a little bit different, where like he's like, I don't want to be judged. So but I don't think it would have been as harsh if this was set in the U.S.
Yeah, okay, all right.
When I first heard that he had tattoos, I was like, but I get it.
Right.
Different place, different setting.
Sure.
There's definitely still like judgment for it here in the U.S., but it seems like there's a heavier judgment for it in the setting of this book because he makes a big deal about it.
Yes. Okay.
However, the reader then learns that these aren't regular tattoos. They have particularly violent imagery and words that probably come off as more threatening than typical tattoos. And all this to say, Logan is trying to turn over a new leaf, and his mail delivery job and the tattoos make all of that a little bit difficult.
Okay. Has he heard of laser tattoo removal?
But I assume that that's very pricey, and he's I don't know how
he's a humble mailman.
Yes, he's just a humble mailman now. He doesn't want that rap of being like scary.
Sure.
Anymore.
Okay. All right, Logan. We'll see.
we will see. He has a little sister who he loves very dearly.
Of course he does.
And she was his only solace growing up with abusive parents. So we're getting some background on Logan. He's had a hard life.
All right.
He also has a fiance who he deeply loves, and his fiance's brother is the one who hooked him up with the mail delivery job.
Got it. Okay.
So, yeah, he feels like extra compelled to succeed.
Yeah, we like nepotism.
Exactly. We got to impress the fiance. We got to prove to the fiance's brother they're like, I'm a changed man. That kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, Logan is on the way to deliver a laptop to Catherine.
Okay.
And the woman. I refer to her as the woman throughout this.
Got it.
For this particular package, he needs her to sign for it. So he approaches her door and asks her to open up and sign for the package. The woman seems very cagey and tells him she can't open the door.
Damn, they killed them kids, huh?
I don't know what happened. But already it's like, this is kind of weird. She's really cagey about it. She's like, I can't open the door. And he's like, well, if you need to go get dressed, I can wait. And she's like, please understand. And he's like, well, if you don't open the door to sign the package, I'm going to have to drop it off at a local mail pickup place. And then she continues to not open the door. So he heads back to his truck. But he feels really strange about that interaction.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, that was really weird. Like, don't you want... And it looks like an important package. He also notices that there are children's bikes in the front yard, but he didn't hear any children inside, which he found really odd.
Is that... I feel like kids are in school during the day when packages are getting delivered.
That's true.
But I don't know.
We know from Gladys earlier that she didn't see the kids getting walked to school like normal, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah. But his suspicions are growing, but like, what's he to do?
Sure.
Okay, so then we switch back to Gladys, and she finds it odd that the woman next door has not opened her blinds, nor has she walked her children to school.
Wow, this is so nosy.
Right?
Oh my God, okay.
People's business. So she decides to walk over and ask the woman if she needs any help with the twins. And Gladys's husband, Lou, is like, no, mind your business. All the neighbors think you're a busybody.
No shit. She is.
She knows it. And Gladys is like, nah, I'm a check. So she walks over there. And the woman opens the peephole, which catches Gladys off guard because she usually just like opens the door immediately. Like,
she opens the peephole?
Yeah. This is the kind where you like...
And you just like see their face? Is that real?
I don't know if Gladys can see her, but like apparently like the peephole has a cover on it, and the woman opens the cover to look through the peephole. Doesn't
that defeat the purpose of a peephole?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. I don't know how Australian peepholes work. I don't know. Okay.
I don't want anybody to see me. I don't want to see them.
I'm saying.
Like, put the package down and leave.
Yes, that's what Ring doorbells are for.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
So Gladys walks over there to check, and then the woman just opens the peephole to address her, which Gladys is immediately like, that's weird. She usually just like opens the door and is like, hi, Gladys. And the woman is like, this is not a good time, and then quickly closes the peephole.
So why did you answer?
Right. This is not a good time. You walked all the way to the door.
I'm saying.
So.
Okay.
Also, why aren't your blinds open?
Yeah.
Gladys is stunned. She's like, this is weird. The woman is never like this. Then Gladys hears the twin girl whispering through the door. And she says, this is a very strange house right now.
Okay,
Spooky.
That's creepy.
Spooky.
Yeah, what in The Shining is going on? Okay.
Yeah. The twins are like between 4 and 7. I forget the exact age.
Okay. It's like that's a wide kind of...
I'm just giving you an idea.
Okay.
Like, they're old enough to talk.
Yeah. Like, well, they're in school, so first, second grade-ish.
Yeah, something like that.
Sure.
So Gladys is like, what is that supposed to mean? And then the girl is quickly called away from the door. So Gladys does not know what to make of the situation. The twin girl is known for being very whimsical and saying funny things. So, like, is this one of those times? Is she just, like, talking?
She's just trying to be funny?
Yeah.
By being a creep?
Why is she whispering?
Yeah, okay.
Gladys's husband, Lou, of course, says that the twin girl was likely just playing around and for Gladys to just stop being so nosy. And Lou, I feel like you know what you signed up for when you married her.
Yeah, so you had to know.
You had to know.
She probably did a full background check before you did your first date. So
I'm trying to stop her from being who she is.
Yeah.
Okay, so now throughout the book, there are certain chapters that switch to an unknown perspective.
Oh shit! All right.
Yeah, so we don't know this perspective is.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. These chapters are written all in italics, and based on context clues, you realize it's the man talking to the woman inside the house. And he says things like, you really should know how to discipline these kids better. And he's referring to when the twin girl ran up to the door and whispered to Gladys. So now
she should know how to discipline
right?
his children?
Right?
Okay. All right.
So,
okay.
We don't, it's like an unknown perspective, but it's in italics. But based on context clues, we can tell this is the man who's inside the house with the woman.
But he doesn't get his own chapters that are named.
They're not named. It just says like, it's like unknown perspective. There's just like no name on these chapters. Whereas the other chapters, it clearly tells you.
Got it. All right.
Yeah. So he says things to the woman like, oh, you really should know how to discipline these kids better. And he's referring to when the twin girl ran up to the door and whispered to Gladys.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we, the reader, start to get some insight into the situation. The man is holding the woman and the twins hostage with a gun.
Well, no shit. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
all right.
You probably sensed that.
Yep. Something was a little off. Okay.
Everything.
Okay.
We're not sure why yet.
Okay.
But the author gives us clues. The woman talks about arguing that morning about infidelity and having a huge argument the night before.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lou noticed the woman's husband speed out of the driveway angrily that morning.
Right. So it's not the husband. We don't know.
We don't know.
All right. Okay.
It's kind of like we're going based on like the voices we hear inside. We hear the man, we hear the woman.
Okay.
But then he remembers later on in the book that the husband had returned to the house shortly after he left. So Lou remembers this later on and brings it up to Gladys. He's like, oh yeah, he sped out of the driveway really angrily. But now that I think about it, he did return later.
Thanks, Lou,
right?
For that information.
Gladys is over here trying to be a busybody.
I'm saying.
And you have information and can't tell anyone.
Okay. All right, Lou.
So
maybe it's Lou. Okay.
Right? At this point, both Gladys, the nosy neighbor, and Logan, the delivery man, are suspicious that something is going on in the house. However, Gladys doesn't want to overreact, as she has been accused of doing before. Supposedly. Okay. What if nothing is going on in the house? What if the man and the woman find her annoying for disrupting their day? And Logan has his spidey sense tingling, but he doesn't want to risk getting authorities involved since he has a record himself.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, but he's Gladys, like, I don't want to get police involved. They're going to start asking questions.
No. Gladys, you can call the police. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's called a welfare check.
That's true.
It's a thing.
That's true. And he could probably do it anonymously.
Yeah. Yeah.
He also doesn't want to risk his job or disappointment from his fiance or his fiance's brother, who's his boss.
Sure.
So these are the thoughts going through both Gladys's and Logan's heads.
Okay.
Now, as the reader, you're getting kind of frustrated because you know there's something going on in the house. But I can definitely imagine being in the situation of like not wanting to escalate a situation if you're wrong. But
yeah.
I feel like at this point it's like enough creepy things have happened just to be
right. Yeah.
You're acting really out of character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you can call someone in that's trained to deal with this sort of stuff.
Right.
But okay.
Logan continues on his deliveries, but the incident with the woman keeps nagging on him.
It would nag at me too. Shit.
Right? Like, what if something crazy is going on and you could have done something?
Exactly, and you didn't.
So he makes the decision to go back and try to deliver the laptop again.
Okay.
He's like, maybe it's all in my head, but now, just as he's about to turn his car around, he receives a phone call from his mother. Logan has a strained relationship with his parents. They were abusive and terrible to him and his sister.
Okay.
Well, Logan's mother informs him that his sister was admitted to the hospital a couple days ago.
How old is the sister?
I don't remember, but she is an adult.
Oh, okay.
Like,
okay.
They're all grown up now.
All right, got it. I thought she was like a minor.
Like a little, no, she's not. Okay. She's not like a young child or anything.
Got it.
So she was assaulted, and she's in critical condition. His sister lives in another city, and she has a boyfriend that Logan can't stand. The guy is emotionally manipulative, a freeloader, and overall a douchebag.
And probably abusive, based on current events.
Yes.
Okay.
So Logan immediately thinks it must be his sister's boyfriend, Patrick.
I think so too.
Up, right?
Yeah, fuck Patrick. We don't fuck with him. Yeah, okay.
Now Logan is livid. He's trying to figure out the next way to be on a plane to go see his sister, and this distracts him from remembering that he was about to go check on the woman.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who wouldn't open her door.
Mm-hmm.
So you as the reader, you're just like, oh dang it, he's finally about to do something, and then he gets this phone call about his sister and her abusive boyfriend Patrick, and you're like, dang it.
Sure.
So to add on to that stress, Logan receives an ominous text message that says, "You're next," from an unknown number.
I don't have time to be next. Right? I've got real world shit to deal with.
Right?
Like,
and he's like, who could
stop it. Okay.
Nobody has time for that.
No. No.
Is it one of the people I was in prison with? One of my old crime buddies? Has that person hurt my sister? Are they on the way to hurt my fiance? So Logan is spiraling, trying to get all this sorted out, which temporarily thwarts our hope as the reader that he was about to go rescue the woman and her twins.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Meanwhile, inside the house, the woman is saying things to the man like, you know nothing of being a father. Just tell me why you're doing this and what you want. From the woman's perspective, this came out of nowhere. She's like, I genuinely can't believe he would do this to his family, the people he's supposed to love. The man has his fingers tangled in the twin girl's hair, and he's gripping her so hard that some of her hairs are coming out. So things are escalating inside the house right now.
You not, sir? Okay. All right.
And this is in punishment of her going to the door and like whispering to Gladys earlier, the nosy neighbor.
Okay.
The man is like, you need to discipline these children better. And my father always warned me about women. This is the type of stuff he's saying. And the woman is just like, tell us what you want.
Yeah.
Tell us what you want. What are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Right.
He's like holding them at gunpoint. He's like, gripping the little girl's hair right now. She's like, what do you want? Why are we doing this?
Yep.
So the man sits them down in the living room and is like, I want you to listen to me. Then we'll decide what to do from there.
Okay. Okay.
And he starts telling the story of his own father and how his mother divorced his father for cheating and wasting their money, and it ruined his life.
But what does that have to do with me?
Right?
Why is that my business?
Well, he's holding a gun, so we've got to be, this is
fair.
so important.
Okay.
Continue the story, sir.
Yep. Okay.
He recounts how his mother was trying to purchase groceries and her card declined because his father had spent their grocery money. His mother was so embarrassed, but he always felt a sense of blame towards her, like she could have somehow prevented it. Yeah.
Okay.
Real incel behavior. His hatred of women and his mother in particular is the main characteristic of his personality, both as a child and now. So that's what you're supposed to get about his character. Like he somehow blames his mother for all of the horrible things his father did.
Okay, and we're doing all of this instead of therapy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
So he went to live with his father, who let him do whatever he wanted to do. He didn't have to go to school, could eat whatever he wanted. He could drink beer and pretty much like anything.
Oh, wow. Sounds like an amazing upbringing.
Right? How much better that probably was for you. However, his father also hit him and poisoned him against his mother.
Oh, well, there we go.
And here we are.
Yep.
His father would tell him that women would ruin him and to never let one take over his life. And the man talks about how he should have listened to his father because he let a woman get to him and now she wants to leave him and that's unacceptable.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the woman is trying to slowly get her children to safety. So like while he's like going on and on, going on his like monologue, she's like, right. That's so important.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. Okay, all right.
She's like, please just let the twins go get something to eat from the kitchen. And she makes eye contact with her twin son in a way that says like, take this as an opportunity, like go get something from the kitchen. But then the man
the kitchen by the back door.
Go get a peanut butter sandwich. But then the man turns to them and he says, sure, but if you're not back in 2 minutes, I'm going to shoot your mother.
Honestly, that's fine.
Dang!
I mean, isn't that what parenthood is? That's what everybody says. You sacrifice for your kids.
On her end, she feels like it's fine. But then when the twins hear
of course, they're not going to.
Sorry, Mom, we can't sneak out the back door. Like, we got to come back for you.
All right.
So.
Okay.
So the twins are mortified. They've never been threatened in their lives. They have never witnessed nor experienced violence.
Most children have never been threatened in their lives. This should be the baseline.
But this is just to let you know that they are different than the man. Like the man's talking about his abuse of upbringing.
Right.
The twins have like never witnessed violence, especially not to this degree.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So the twin girl is like still rubbing her head from where he snatched out some of her hair. So with this threat, they return from the kitchen with snacks. No escape attempted.
Okay. All right. Well, can't really blame them. They're like 5.
Yeah. But like from the reader's perspective, it's like, okay, so there's no escape attempt inside the house. Gladys, for once, isn't getting super involved. It's like this is the one time we need you to get involved.
Right.
Logan forgot to return to the house because he's dealing with his own
He's got
stuff.
his own shit.
Yep.
Okay.
So then in Gladys's house, she's still suspicious of hearing the twin girl say, this is a strange house.
So let's do something, Gladys.
Come through, Gladys.
What are we doing?
What's the point of being a busybody if not to busy somebodies? But it's not enough for her to call the police or anything. And yeah.
I'm 100% sure that Gladys has called the police for less.
She has, but that's why she's not doing it now, because she's like, well, everyone's always accusing me of doing too much, so I'm not going to do too much.
See, she needs her extra meter calibrated.
Exactly.
Because you need to figure out when you need to do too much.
Like, everyone's acting out of character right now.
All right.
Okay. So in the background, Lou is watching the news, and he sees a story about a woman who was assaulted by her boyfriend. And as the reader, you realize they're referring to Logan's sister.
Right.
The news is like, and the neighbors didn't report anything, which makes Gladys self-conscious about not reporting anything next door.
Good.
She's like, I don't want you to be the neighbor who didn't report anything.
Yeah.
Then Gladys looks over at the neighbor's house and sees a sign in the upstairs window. The window that belongs to the twins.
Ooh.
And the sign says, help us, spelled H-A-L-P, help us.
Help.
Yeah. Oh my God. But then the sign is like snatched away really, really quickly.
Oh,
and Gladys is like, what could that mean? And as the reader, you're like, okay, now, I understand not doing anything before, but that was a clear cry for help. What do you mean?
Like literally a cry for help.
Mm-hmm.
It literally said, help us. So Gladys.
And then it was snatched away violently.
This is your moment.
To shine.
Let's go. I feel like this is what Gladys has been waiting her whole life for. This is what
you've been training for.
Yes.
Like, haven't you always dreamed of just like your busybodying saved someone and now it's justified and no one can tell you anything about it anymore?
Yeah. No one is ever going to give you shit for that ever again.
You're saving lives.
Yeah, literally saving lives. So.
But yet again, Lou kind of convinces her that maybe the twins were just playing around.
Okay, fuck Lou too.
Lou's getting on my nerves.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
what are you doing, Lou?
Right.
Meanwhile, inside the house, the twin boy has been slapped across his face.
But he has.
Yeah. It's escalating.
Yeah.
First it was hair snatching, and now he's been slapped so hard that it has left a handprint.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so devastating at this point because the woman talks about how her children have never experienced anything like this. And she can see the change happening in their eyes, especially the twin boy. So this is like a really devastating part of the book because it's just like these kids are being altered in ways that like is going to carry you.
All because Lou wants to sit up in his armchair and watch the football or whatever they do in Australia. Okay. All right. Cool.
Whatever they do in Australia.
I don't know what they watch.
The kangaroos. So she can see the wheels like turning in his mind. Like he's realizing he can be hurt in his own home and his mother is powerless to do anything about it. And the man had slapped the twin boy because of the help us sign in the window.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy for a 5-year-old though.
Yeah.
Mm.
However, the woman knows that the twin boy was just taking the blame for his twin sister.
Mm.
The twin brother is always protecting his sister like that, so she knows. And then the twin boy is like a mixture of furious and on the like fence of bawling tears. Like he's like shaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is an actual child in a hostage situation.
Right. Like I'm an adult
crazy.
and you put me in a hostage situation and I'm crying.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Absolutely.
I'll give it to you.
Absolutely. But we still don't know what this
he still has
dude wants.
Yeah, he just wants to sit there and monologue. Yeah. And the woman is like, okay, I need to come up with a plan to get this gun from him. She was holding out some thread of hope that he would like have sympathy for his family, especially since she has never seen him act violently like this before. But after he slapped her child, she was like, nah, all cards are off the table.
Okay. He is the twin brother of the husband. And they have twin genes in the family. That's why they got twins. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's my theory.
Put your theories in the
comments.
That's
my theory. Yes. Please put your theories down below.
So sprinkled throughout the book are chapters from the man's perspective inside of his mind. And it's like a manifesto of woman hate. So I told you about they're the ones that are like in italics. Yeah.
Okay. Do we think Nicole Trope is a man?
Oh, because like who could write this? No, I feel like a woman could
we
write
experience it enough.
We've seen it, yeah,
absolutely. But okay,
either way, we need to look more
curious.
into Nicole Trope.
Yeah, all right.
So his chapters are like a manifesto of woman hate. Every woman he has ever interacted with is now like the bringer of his destruction.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
We can't do any self-reflection.
No, not at all.
No.
Why could anything ever be his fault?
No, absolutely not. No. He's a man. All right.
Not all men. but this man.
This one.
Yeah.
This one for sure.
And his father warned him never to trust women, and he should have listened, because look at the situation he's in now with this woman who's trying to break up with him, and how dare she? Who does she think she is? Blah 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 blah. Like, these are what his chapters sound like long manifestos of like,
all right,
women. So as the reader, I felt unsure, like, what his grand plan was.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're holding your family hostage because you want them to listen to you and your rage. But then what? Like, what's the end game?
Yeah, like, you're just going to kill them anyway. Like,
I don't even know
honestly
what he plans to do. Because if his plan was to kill them, like, we could have started that. But he's acting just very erratically. Like, even he doesn't really know what he wants from the situation.
Okay.
Which you really should have thought through before, like, holding
holding children at gunpoint.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back to the woman's perspective. She's like, please stop. You're scaring the children. And he's like, am I? And then he cracks the gun across her cheek.
Great.
And blood like goes everywhere. Her mouth is filling with it. And she's pretty sure she's like cracked a tooth. And her kids are like crying, like, mama, mama. Apparently that's how they say mom in Australia.
Yeah.
Mama. Mm-hmm. So it's a pretty gruesome scene. She can see the innocence like leaving her children's eyes. And the twin boy tells the man, I hate you. Yeah, so she's seeing her kids like turn into different people because of this violence.
Yeah, that's wild.
Now we go back to Logan. And even though he's spiraling about his sister being in the hospital and her boyfriend, Patrick, likely being the culprit, he remembered the woman and her strange reluctance to open the door. Finally.
Right, yes.
So he returns to her house to try to re-deliver the laptop. And after knocking, he hears the twin girl's voice whisper, there's a real gun.
Yeah, so we call the police.
Right? Then shortly after, the twin girl is pulled away and Logan hears the man say, we don't want the delivery today. Leave or I'll call the police.
I'm calling the police.
Right, call them.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think we should all call them together.
Actually, let's do that. Yeah. Group chat.
So now Logan is more certain that something is going on in the house. And even,
I would hope so.
Right? Like, how many signs do there have to be? I want him to go talk to Gladys, honestly.
Yes. Okay. All right.
So even though there's a small part of him that wonders if the twin girl was just playing, he still takes the risk and goes to the police department, which is a big risk for him. Because again, he's been trying to like avoid them.
Right.
Trying not to like raise any red flags. But
trying to be clean.
Yes.
But I mean, he's being a good citizen right now.
Okay. So he's super nervous about it because he's skittish about police due to his checkered past.
All right.
He gives an officer the name of the woman, which he got from the package, and the address. He explains everything weird that happened, the woman sounding frightened through the door, and the child whispering about a gun. However, the officer seems more interested in running a background check on Logan, finding out how he used to break into houses and wondering why he's so invested in this woman and her nice house.
Okay, but Logan did his time, right?
Right? He did his time, and he's coming to you with information.
Right.
So if he was trying to break into this house, like he was like casing it, why
literally, like, 2 brain cells.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay.
But you know, police in like books and movies and stuff, they always have to be like incompetent, which I'm sure probably is like frustrating for
Okay.
All right. So, however, after the officer like does his background check, he then the officer leaves to go get her boss, and Logan bolts out of there and goes back to his van. He feels better that he reported what he saw and just wants to like leave and stop thinking about it. Plus, he has his sister to worry about.
Right. Oh, yes.
Exactly.
Did we even see like her in the hospital?
No, we as a reader don't see her, but like we know she's in the hospital and he wants to go see her. He's trying to be on a plane like by this evening to go see her.
Oh, it's a plane. Okay.
Yeah, she's a minute away. She's
like far. Well, everything in Australia is far away. Okay.
Like for us, we might think it's driving distance only because we're used to driving like whatever to get anywhere.
Yeah.
But
okay.
However, he also has that threatening text to worry about, the one that said "You're next."
I forgot about that.
Right?
Because we don't have time for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
All right.
Logan's dealing with a lot of He's got his creepy text messages, his sister, her abusive boyfriend, and then also worrying about this woman who's acting really weird in her house.
Right. Okay.
Meanwhile, we have Gladys, who still has not done anything.
Then why is she here?
Right. Just to make us mad as the reader and frustrated. She and Lou are watching TV, and the news story about the girl who was beaten comes on again. We know.
Slow news day in Australia?
I guess so.
Or maybe they just have
the same.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe they don't play like frivolous things like our news stations. They just like play the
trauma.
Yes.
Okay.
We know this person is Logan's sister, and the news explains that the prime suspect is her boyfriend, who they can't find. They show the last image that they have of him in a red baseball cap, and Gladys is like, wait a second. I've seen that guy before. I'm sure of it, but she can't quite place where.
Okay.
She's like, I've seen that man.
Okay, Gladys, the busybody, cannot place the man.
She can't place him, but she knows she's seen him. She doesn't know where or how.
All right.
Which
it would be really convenient,
honestly,
if she could.
If anything, that just adds more mystery.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, and then back to the woman. She manages to get a hold of some scissors, and she stores them between the couch cushions while the man has his back turned.
Good.
Right?
She could have just like stabbed him then, but okay.
Is it an American thing for us to like have weapons readily available, like knives and stuff?
That's a great question.
Under the bed pillow, or not under the bed pillow, but just like, does everybody think about like, oh, if I needed to, what weapon do I have in my bedroom? What weapon do I have in my kitchen?
Maybe that's enough thing. Yeah,
that's sad.
Possibly
that we have to think about that. But
baseball bat by the door,
right?
Okay.
It takes her a while, but she gets a hold of some scissors and she hides them like in the couch cushion.
All right, smart lady.
Yes.
Okay.
He is still terrorizing all of them in the living room, delivering his manifesto and how she ruined his life. Then she finds just the right moment when he tucks the gun in his waistband during his speech.
That was stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Why would he do that?
Why would you do that?
Then she finds just the right moment and she like gets up and she lunges herself at him with the scissors in her hand, ready to stab him anywhere she can. And he catches her wrist and is like, and what do you think you're doing? Okay. And he slowly bends it back centimeter by centimeter until there's a snapping sound and she crumples to the ground.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. This is stressful.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
This is stressful.
It is. Okay. At this point, you're like, we need to do something.
Yeah.
Someone needs to do something.
This has been like all day.
Right?
Wow.
Like, no one has used the restroom.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
It's so painful that she temporarily blacks out. Yeah. And the children are like mortified.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gladys is still suspicious, and she doesn't want to be like the neighbors on the news who didn't do anything when someone needed help. So she finally decides to bake some chocolate muffins and use them as a ruse to get the woman to open the door and confirm that everything's all right. The twin boy convinces the man to let him answer the door to get Gladys to go away.
How long does it take to make these muffins? Because I feel like we could have just called the police.
Well, I feel like once you reach a certain level in your life, there's certain things you can just magically do, okay? And whip up muffins. It's one of them. She just whips up some muffins. Okay. And goes across. Okay.
But, all right. But muffins take at least, like, I'm not like a muffin connoisseur, but I've made muffins before. And that takes at least, you have to make the batter, but then you have to bake it for at least like 15 to 18 minutes.
I take even longer. I gotta taste the batter.
Right.
You know? I gotta find a good show to put on.
But I mean, even assuming Gladys knows what she's doing and she's been making these muffins for 50 years.
Right. You can't beat an oven. You can't speed up the oven.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay. But or we can call the police at the same time. So even if, okay, all right, it's fine. Yeah, muffins, that's our solution to a neighbor in distress.
I would qualify now, but cool. I've also never been accused of being a busybody though, so I don't have that like rep like weighing on my shoulders.
But I feel like you would own it.
I
like,
would.
That's the goal.
I'd be like, and?
Yeah, and what?
I guess you can't sneak people in.
Right.
I'm gonna be watching.
Yeah, and then when the SWAT team shows up to save you, you're going to be thanking my busybody ass.
Like, you want my notes that I've taken today?
Right. I have very detailed logs of everyone who has gone in that house.
Pigeon lands on tree, 5:12 p.m. Okay, so this one boy, he convinces the man to let him answer the door to get Gladys to go away. And the man is like, all right, but if you tell her anything suspicious, I'll rip your sister's head off.
Just like...
I don't know how he plans to do that.
Is that what he said?
He says that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I watch horror movies. It's more difficult to do that than you think. But that's
okay.
The threat he puts out there.
Okay.
But before we can see what happens with that, we're back to Logan. And
all right.
Even though he told the police, he feels it in his bones that something is happening at that house. And he doesn't know if the police will take it seriously. So he decides to venture there one last time.
Okay.
Things are coming to a head now. Okay?
All right. Okay. All right. Climax. Let's go.
Yes. So Gladys realizes there's for sure something wrong in the house because the twin boy told her, thanks for trying to help. which is not the usual way that this 5-year-old boy speaks. So this is him like trying to like be weird without being obviously weird.
I don't think that's a normal response anyone has to getting some muffins.
But especially not this boy, apparently. Apparently that's not how he speaks. She's like, okay. And also, she suddenly remembers where she saw the man on the TV.
Great.
The one who assaulted Logan's sister.
Great.
She saw him the day before snooping around in her backyard.
And she didn't say shit. Resident busybody.
Right?
Okay.
And I don't know, are backyards in other countries just like open with no fence?
Well, even here in the U.S., I know in some places it's not standard to
like have a fence.
Yeah, like in Ohio and like.
Interesting.
I'm sure there's other places, but I've been to like Ohio and they don't. Everyone doesn't have a fence.
Even without a fence, if someone is just in my backyard.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some questions for you.
I'm calling someone.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to you or greeting. You're up to nefarious things.
And you know this isn't in the United States because that would be a shoot first, ask questions later scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's wild.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, that's wild.
So she remembers she saw this man snooping around in her backyard, and he said that he was part of the neighborhood's gardening crew. But then she didn't see him again doing
but I didn't ask you to come to my yard.
Right. Like, doesn't this need to be, do I need to sign something?
Right.
And then plus, Lou saw the woman's husband leave angrily and then return soon after to the house. So with all this combined, she's like, okay, I need to do something. There's too many weird events all put together.
Thanks for getting there, Gladys.
Mm-hmm. It's been hours and hours.
Yeah, 8 hours later.
For this family, but I'm so glad we finally got there. Just as she's heading over to the woman's house, she sees a delivery van pull up and a man with lots of menacing tattoos starts walking towards the woman's door. Gladys is immediately like, young man, what are you doing here? She's being super judgy and suspicious of Logan.
Sure.
And Logan is like, look, cards on the table? I think something weird is going on in that house.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to deliver a package and everything seems super sketch in there. I tried to report it to the police, but my background and tattoos made them not take me seriously. So Logan's just like laying it all out. He's like, this is what's happening.
Which is absolutely insane.
Right? I brought an actual problem to you.
Right.
And you're like,
But you have tattoos.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Right? You can't be legit.
And also, I feel like Gladys is failing in her busybody duties because she should have known he came by the house twice to try and drop off a package.
Right? Why hasn't she been recording that?
Yeah.
Like, why is this delivery man coming so much?
Yeah.
And also, he went to deliver a package, but then took the package back. Why isn't the woman getting her packages?
Exactly. We could have put this together sooner.
I think we would be much better busybodies.
I agree.
So at this point, Gladys softens up and is like, I totally understand. I would never judge someone like that, even though she literally just judged him.
Literally did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She explains how she also thinks something sketchy is going on in the house. And while they're debating what to do about it, a scream comes from the house.
Oh, shit.
The book calls it a long and loud scream that's desperate and sad all at once.
Damn. He killed them kids, huh?
I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Logan immediately sprints towards the backside of the house and tells Gladys to call the police. Gladys does so. Finally.
After she baked her fucking muffins and did her
spying.
Yeah.
At this point, I feel like the school day is over.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
From inside the house, the man is now sitting, and he has calmed down and made up his mind, which is perhaps more frightening than him ranting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Now he's all quiet.
We don't like that.
Nope. He has closed his eyes and is counting backwards from 100.
Did he? Okay. All right.
The woman can hear him, and she is certain that once he gets to 0, he is going to kill them.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is what is going to happen.
It is giving insane behavior.
Yeah, so maybe while his eyes are closed, we try and run.
Something? Anything? Like last-ditch effort?
I mean, now or never.
Exactly. The woman brings her twins in close, and she whispers for them to run when she gives the signal.
Great.
Before she can give the signal, they hear a faint click sound, the sound of the back door being opened.
Okay.
The man has not noticed this, but they have.
Okay.
They know that someone else is now in the house with them. Who is it? Are they here to help or make things worse? This is from their perspective. We know it's Logan.
It's Logan. Yeah. Okay, I was like, is it going to be someone different?
We know Logan. He went to the back.
They could be trying to fake me out.
They're like, what's going on?
Okay.
The woman is running out of time. She takes one final look at her babies, and she gives them the signal to run.
Great.
Then she immediately rushes at the man in a blind fury.
Fantastic.
The twins run towards the back door and run into Logan.
Yep.
A gunshot is heard.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Logan tells them he's here to help and for them to go run to Gladys's house.
Yep. Logan
knows the sound of a gunshot.
I would imagine he does.
I bet he does. He knows that whatever is happening in the living room cannot be good. After the twins go and run to Gladys's house, he enters the living room and it reads, this is what it says. As he bursts in, he looks at what has happened, at who is there, and he knows that whatever you do in your life, you can never outrun karma. Karma never loses an address. At this point, the main twist of the book is revealed. Take a moment to ponder.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. So I think Patrick is somehow involved. This probably is Patrick, this man who has been holding them hostage. Somehow, man, I don't even know where to go with this. Somehow his sister, is related to this family.
Interesting.
You're like, you were so fucking wrong.
No, I'm not
okay. All right. I got nothing. That's all I got.
I mean, that's a very interesting theory.
Okay.
Put your theories down below.
Okay.
All right, so we switched back to the man's perspective. He has just shot the woman.
I'm tired of him.
Right? I've been tired of him.
Okay.
Him and his italics. He has just shot the woman who came charging at him, and he utters the words, "Mum, Mum." He has just shot his mother. Yes, up until this point, the book was very clever in never mentioning the ages of the man and woman. And the woman also never called the man by name.
Okay.
So as the reader, you're under the impression that the man was the woman's husband this entire time. They're purposely giving you that impression.
Okay. Yeah.
Not
makes
only
sense.
is he the woman's son, but when he looks up and sees that Logan has entered the living room, you find out that the man is none other than Patrick.
Yes. Okay.
Logan's sister's boyfriend.
Right. But how?
So the one who is wanted for her assault, and it turns out that Patrick and Logan's sister got into a huge argument, and she tried to break up with him. He assaulted her, then fled. He decided to take out his frustrations on the woman who started it all for him, his mother, Catherine. And on the other hand, has done nothing but love Patrick his entire life, even when Patrick's father poisoned him against her.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine tried to mend their relationship, but Patrick was too far gone in his anti-woman spiral.
Yeah. Okay.
Catherine still contacted Patrick once a year, letting him know that he is always welcome back.
Well, I bet she regrets that.
Mm-hmm, heavily. She married a new man, her husband John, who has not been at the house torturing his family all day, but instead at work. And she had twins with John. And she gave Patrick her address and wanted to reconnect one day. So he stalked her place the previous day, which is why Gladys saw him in her backyard.
Right.
And he hatched a plan to make her pay in a way that would end everything for everyone involved. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Patrick.
Okay, so now we're back to the present.
Got it.
Patrick has his mom, Catherine, bleeding out in his arms from a bullet wound. And then Logan bursts in, sees that it's Patrick, his sister's boyfriend, who he has never liked, and is the prime suspect in assaulting his sister.
And beats the shit out of him.
Yes, and it is on site for him.
Let's go.
Yes, this is what we're waiting for.
All right, Logan. So, I'm back on your side.
Always. I mean, he was
dealing with a lot.
He
was dealing with a lot.
So Logan and Patrick start wrestling for the gun. And in the process, Logan gets shot twice in the chest.
Well, shit. Okay.
Right. The police rush in.
Everybody getting shot.
Everyone's getting shot. And the police are finally here. Now, all these people have been shot. And they shoot Patrick in the stomach. He falls to the ground and starts running through all these thoughts in his head. He suddenly has all this regret. He's like, why did I hate my mother? All she did was love me unconditionally and want to be a part of my life. He's getting all this clarity on how his
he's been fucking shot.
After he held his family hostage all day, snatching hair.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
After all that,
smacking
now he's getting
kids.
clarity.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
And he gets all this clarity on how his father's failures in his life were not his mother's fault. and he doesn't know who he is anymore. And he fades to blackness, and he dies.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm tired of Patrick.
Yeah, that's what I was rooting for too. I was like, I don't want a redemption arc for you.
No.
Because this is ridiculous.
No. Okay.
And then a few months later, we find out that Logan and Catherine recovered from their injuries in the hospital.
Wonderful.
Yes. Catherine's twins will never be the same, of course, especially the twin boy, George.
Yeah.
And it haunts him so greatly that he freezes up when he hears the doorbell ring. And he asks his mother whether he will turn out like his brother when he gets big.
Not if we get therapy.
Yes. Yes. Honestly, that's the lesson here.
That is the lesson here.
Logan and his fiance are expecting a baby, and Gladys has become like a grandmother to all of them. Little busybody grandmother.
Okay, I would be pissed at Gladys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, what was the point of you being a busybody the whole plot?
Right. You didn't save anyone from getting shot.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Catherine still feels a connection to Patrick despite all he did to them.
Yeah, okay.
And she wishes his life could have turned out differently for him. And the book ends with Catherine reading a story to her children.
Wonderful. Okay.
And that's how the book ends.
All right.
So what are we thinking? How was the twist?
It was pretty good. I definitely did not guess. Like, where did...
That you guessed part of it.
Right.
You knew
I think
Patrick.
it was pretty obvious that it was Patrick at some point.
So when I was reading it, they give you the impression as though Catherine and the man are like husband and wife.
Yeah.
Because they keep saying things like, how could you do this to your family?
Right.
You know, and he says things to her like, you need to learn to discipline these kids.
Yeah.
So it just like makes you think that he's the husband.
Yeah.
So for me, it was surprising. I was like, oh, it's Patrick.
But it was like she like a teen mother. Like, do we have any? No,
we just don't know how old she is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because I'm guessing he's like what, like 20 something.
I would guess Patrick is probably his early 20s.
Yeah, because if he's with the sister and she's an adult, then okay.
Also, another young adult.
Yeah, I did not guess that twist. I never would have thought.
I love it when something is very clever about like the perspective it's taking.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you're like, you thought you were seeing it from this perspective, but it was really, yeah.
That's. I think that was pretty well done. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah. Nicole Trope did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I will say I felt like when I was reading it, it did drag a little bit in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like all these people are just going back and forth. They're like, should I say something? Should I go to the blue?
Right.
And as a reader, you're like, look, you only have a couple more chapters to play these games.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So it sounds like it was like the twist was good and everything, but one of the last thrillers that I read was Behind Closed Doors. I do not remember the author.
Hold on. I feel like I read that.
Okay.
I need to look it up.
Okay.
I feel like I read that.
Okay. And what annoys me about, I guess this is a genre of just like men who hate their mothers and therefore go and kill people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that is kind of played out.
It is. It is. I wonder when Nicole wrote this, because maybe it wasn't played out when she wrote it.
That's true. Do tell.
Let me read this summary really quick of Behind Closed Doors.
Yeah.
Because it sounds so familiar.
Okay.
And I read so many psychological thrillers that they start to like blend together.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I've read
No?
it.
Okay.
No, wait, hold on.
I think I told you about it. I didn't like describe the whole plot because I do not remember.
The way I'll know for sure is if it's in my Kindle.
Okay.
But so it did a similar thing,
Well, it was even. It sounds like it was probably less well done. Honestly, like the villain in that book just like was evil because his dad.
Spoilers for Behind Closed Doors.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So the villain of that book, a spoiler alert, he was evil because he watched his dad abuse his mom, and he was like, "Oh, that looks cool," and that was it. Like he just like got off on it.
I have not read this.
Okay.
But it's just funny because what you're describing sounds like another book I've read.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And I'm not going to give away that plot, but it's also a similar thing.
Yeah.
Where like our character is turned against their mother by their father.
See, but even These two that you're describing sound more similar. Like, behind closed doors, he was just like evil just to be evil, and it was annoying. I hate that. Like, don't, because if you have someone deliberately like poisoning you against somebody, that is like a thing. But if you're just like, oh, I saw him hit mom and like that turned me evil, like, what?
Yeah, that's like not enough.
Right.
That's one of my, I have quite a few like nitpicky things that will annoy me when I watch things. I'll watch it regardless. I'll read it regardless, but like it'll annoy me. And one of the things is when I cannot understand the motive of the villain.
Exactly.
Like, take me on the journey.
Yes.
You can't just be like, oh, I'm evil because I want to rule the world. Like, why do you want to rule the world?
But why?
Who wants to do that?
Yeah.
The whole world?
That sounds like a lot of work.
So much stress.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather just like be rich on an island?
By yourself?
That would be better goal.
Get whatever you want.
Explain it to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you.
But all right, I think I would rate this book overall an A- because I did very much enjoy it, and my only main critique was how it lulls in the middle.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. All right. That sounds solid.
I enjoy a good twist. That's one of the main things I look for in a psychological twist.
I would rate that twist an A.
Yeah.
Just I don't read a lot of thrillers and all that, but
it's just, and again, it was so clever the way they were doing the perspectives.
I appreciate that, like that kind of working things. Yeah. Okay.
That's also why I tried to be deliberate when I wrote this and being like, let's just call them the man and the woman.
Sure.
Because if I call them Catherine and the man, I feel like it's obvious then. It's like, why don't you just call them John?
Right.
If it's John.
Yeah.
But like, let's just anonymize everybody.
That makes sense.
We don't know who anyone is.
Oh yeah, that's pretty clever. Okay.
All right. And I guess those are our thoughts on The Family Across the Street by Nicole Trope.
Yes, it sounds pretty good.
Yeah, great job, Nicole.
Yeah.
We recommend you guys go out and read it for yourselves.
Yes.
Did you guess the twist fully? Did you half guess it? Did you not see it coming at all?
Yeah, I did not see it coming. So please let us know if you are more well-versed in thrillers than I am.
All right. Well, that was Hotties with the Plotties.
Yes. Thank you for joining us.
Until next time.
Bye. All right. Ready, set. You've reached the voicemail of Tasha
and Daniqua.
We can't come to the phone right now.
But if you like, comment, subscribe, and click another episode,
we'll be with you shortly.